Terrarian in the Dungeon, Chapter 83, Fan Fiction, by Azaziel. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel for listening and patreon.com/Azaziel to read all of his stories. So you really do have a beastkin fetish, huh? Seshet pointed out as I brought Haruheim out of my room and into the living room, and I facepalmed at how Hestia just nodded at Seshet's words and threw me a look of blame. Humph, you are being a playboy. Hestia spat, and I just rolled my eyes. Don't talk too big, Hestia, or I may try to NTR Bell from you into my own familia. I retorted, making Seshet cackle and the hearth goddess pale with her mouth flapping open and closed as, apparently, my words came out as true. Anyway, I said, changing the subject as I pulled Haruheim in front of me. I picked up this lovely Haruheim after her goddess was sent back to Tenkai due to Evolus burning down the red light district, I explained with Seshet and Hestia's eyebrows rising up in worry. Wait, who was her goddess? Seshet asked with a frown. Ishtar, I said flatly, and Seshet gave me a look that only said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But I nodded to show I was serious, so Seshet just groaned, running her hands through her black hair. Huh, so the queen bitch was sent back to Tenkai. Then, in unison, Seshet and Hestia both loudly groaned as a commiserating look of despair came across their faces. Hestia and Seshet both shared a look, and at our confused look Seshet spoke with a clear expression of annoyance. Sure, Ishtar was the queen bitch of Orario, but she was a jealous queen bitch and kept to herself in the red light district for the most part. But now with the queen of whores executed, the other goddesses of love and beauty will be beginning to take over the prime location to fuel their domains. As she said that, I recalled how, when I first went to the guild to find a familia and was told by Misha how the Kama/Mara familia was recruiting, and I wondered what kind of goddess of love she was. All the love goddesses of Danmachi were very different in how they used and were controlled by that domain. Ugh. Aphrodite, Kama, and the others are going to make a mess. Hestia grimaced, and I wanted to scream at the oncoming thoughts with charm nonsense that was inevitably going to cause trouble as they attempted to claw their way to power in Orario's meat grinder. And with Evolus causing issues, it's almost certain those psychos are going to try to kill those familias that try to climb the ranks or just arrive in Orario. Seshet agreed as she grunted at the sheer effort of getting up from her plush couch to approach Haruheim. Alright, girlie, I am your new goddess Seshet, worship me for I am mighty blah blah. Yeah, I am slapping my tramp stamp on you, so don't cause Jake any issues as he is a bleeding heart with a dick that has bigger ambitions than his body can handle. Seshet said bluntly as she expertly pulled her hands across Haruheim's waist, and before Renard could react, Seshet pulled open the rope that tied together Haruheim's kimono. Eep. Haruheim gasped as she wrapped her hands around her chest as her kimono got pulled off, and I realized that Haruheim went the traditional way in wearing a kimono. So she was nude underneath it. I turned a bit and focused on Hestia, who was frowning at Seshet's treatment as Seshet manhandled the shy Renard so she could put a fauna on her. I spoke to Hestia to try to break the awkward silence. So is Belle still in the dungeon or something? I asked, and Hestia blinked and shook her head as she refocused on me. Nope. She just got back a bit ago and should be in the bath. Hestia told me, and I blew out a bit of air as I nodded, and Hestia raised an eyebrow at my reaction. Why is something wrong? Hestia asked with some concern for me. I nodded slowly before shrugging as honestly I had no idea what Alfia's grand plan was, but just letting Belle walk into that clusterfuck without knowing anything was not going to go well, so I decided to explain a bit. Yeah, I am not sure, honestly. Somehow, Belle's crazy aunt, who demands to be called an older sister because she hates the idea of being called old, got resurrected by the dungeon. I said drily, and Hestia's face twisted at my words with Seshet looking over at me with some true concern, which made sense with how her Egyptian pantheon was so into how the dead should be at rest and whatnot. The best part is, who her aunt is. I said as I sighed before speaking wryly. Yeah, her dear aunt is, the Silence, Alfia, and apparently her mother also got resurrected somehow despite her not dying in the dungeon at all, I said frowning at the end as it truly made no damn sense to me. Like plenty of people in canon got resurrected after dying in the dungeon. Literally, every Xeno was the soul of a monster who decided to say fuck you to the dungeon after dying too many times and got tired of being used as cannon fodder. And there were a number of Evolus members that died during the old days, and even just people that died to the dungeon monsters that got resurrected by the dungeon as a creature like Phildus. But that didn't explain how Materia, Belle's mother, got resurrected at all. Hestia went pale at hearing how Belle's ever so slightly deranged aunt/big sister was looking for Belle with her nervously giggling. Haha. So does she know where we live? She asked weakly, and I deadpanned at her. Hestia. I said slowly as though I was speaking to someone about to learn they had cancer or just telling them some horrible news. We live in a massive fucking dildo covered in lava. The whole world knows where we live. I said dryly, and Hestia tilted back and forth in place before her eyes rolled up into the back of her head and her tits smashed into my face as I hurriedly bent over to catch the goddess, who collapsed backward in a dead faint.